Hello, welcome or welcome back to Reading to Write. Fancy seeing me again in a single month. I can't believe I'm actually going to get another video out pretty quickly. So fingers crossed I can keep this trend up. Today we are going to do the Writers Not Writing tag. I was tagged by Anna Stride, which she has a really cool channel. You should check it out. I will link the video that she did this tag in the description. Without further ado, and because my light does not like being on for too long, we're just gonna get right into it. So question number one is, do you have a day job? I currently don't. I am still looking for employment. I used to work as a project manager and a content manager for an edtech company in California, but I had to quit the job because we were moving and they wouldn't sponsor me to work remote. So I am still looking, probably in that space again. Yeah, right now I really am just like full-time writer, full-time job seeker. Question two is, are you a reader? Of course I'm a reader. This channel is literally called Reading to Write. I am not reading as many like traditionally published books as I used to when I first started this channel, but I am still reading a lot. It's just a lot of stuff that I can't really talk about on the channel because it's either my personal works that aren't published yet, or my friends' works, or really depressing news stories that like I definitely don't want to talk about on this channel. So yeah, I'm trying to get back into reading like full-length novels again more consistently. I did just talk about one in my last video. Hopefully I'll have a couple more coming out soon. Question number three are, what are your other hobbies? My biggest hobby right now outside of writing is probably dancing. So I do a lot of like, I look up YouTube tutorials and teach myself choreography in my home. I also attend a class with some of my friends that's kind of like a jazzercise but with like pop music. So I do really love to dance. I used to go out dancing all the time when I was younger. Don't really have as many opportunities to do that, and also I'm like not as energetic as I used to be when I was younger. So, but dancing has always been a huge love of mine, and it's kind of fun to actually like officially do choreography. That was something that I haven't really done since high school. I'm considering starting another channel where I can kind of like post some of the dance stuff because it has a lot to do with like K-pop and all that kind of stuff, but we'll see about that. Another hobby that I have that I actually haven't done in a long time is horseback riding. So I had a horse back in California and he died like not this past October, but the October before that. So I haven't really ridden since he passed away because he was very important to me. But it is another hobby and I have been thinking about getting back into it soon since it was such a huge part of my life, like since I was 11 years old. So yeah, I think those are like really the two big ones that I would say are my hobbies. Question number four is tea or coffee. I am a huge tea drinker. I love tea. I have one every single morning. Sometimes I have multiple cups a day, whether it's black tea, which is what I usually drink. I usually drink like an Earl Grey or a Lady Grey, but I also like non-caffeinated ones too, like herbal teas, or you know, I have a creative CBD tea that I get sometimes that I really like, that when I'm having writer's block I'll sometimes drink to like get me out of it. I do enjoy the occasional coffee, but coffee really like turns me into a wackadoodle. Like I don't know what, if it's just like the caffeine level plus the sugar that's usually in it, because I usually go for like a mocha latte or I don't know, something with espresso and sugar in it, but I literally like get crazy. You can ask my husband, he every time he gets me coffee, he's like, I'm never getting you coffee again, even though he's laughing the whole time. I literally act like I'm drunk or on speed. I don't know, it's very weird. So I have to be careful with my coffee consumption. Question number five is, what are you passionate about? I'm very passionate about storytelling. Obviously, that's why I'm a writer. I'm very passionate about my cat, Zara. I'm passionate about my hobbies. I'm super passionate about music, which there's a question later on about music, so I will talk more about that when we get to that question. And I guess I'm very passionate about politics recently. I'm as political as most like adults are who contribute to their society by voting and that kind of stuff, but I've never like been political on social media or, you know, tried to like contribute my voice. And recently I have felt like I have had to, because in this setting that we're in, like it's very important to speak up as much as possible. So I've definitely gotten a lot more passionate about politics. That's all I'll say about it. But yeah, question six, do you have any pets? Yes, I just talked about her. Zara is our only pet. She is downstairs right now, so I'll add a video of her or something like that so you can see her, but I'm sure if you've been paying attention to the channel, you've seen her at least once by now. Question seven is, what was your dream job as a child? So actually being an author was one of my dream jobs as a child. I've always loved writing. I don't think there's ever been a time where I haven't written, but for whatever reason as a child, I was like, I'm not gonna make any money doing that. So I didn't pursue it as like a serious career until now, when it's like why would you not? Because life is too short and you should do what you enjoy. But other careers that I wanted as a child, I wanted to be a paleontologist at one point because of Jurassic Park. I also wanted to be a zoologist because I grew up watching stuff like The Crocodile Hunter and Going Wild with Jeff Corwin and Zaboomafoo and all that stuff. So like I've always really loved animals. I guess that is something else that I'm passionate about. And I used to watch like Animal Planet documentaries and all that kind of stuff. So that was a big one that I wanted to be for a while. Question 8, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to be? I don't really know. I don't like super love living in America right now, so maybe Ireland. Ireland seemed really cool. I went on a trip like a year and a half ago. It was absolutely beautiful. I still haven't decided on whether I'm going to post the footage for that at some point because it's like hours and hours of footage. But it was a beautiful trip and everybody there seemed pretty happy. Maybe the Netherlands somewhere, like Sweden or Switzerland, since they seem to have like the happiest population in all of the world. New Zealand is another one maybe. That would seem cool. Not Australia because I'm super afraid of spiders and they have a lot of poisonous shit there, so New Zealand for sure. Japan sounds cool, but obviously I don't speak Japanese, so I don't know. Yeah, maybe one of those places. Question 9 is, do you speak any foreign languages? Unfortunately, I do not. I am a typical American, which is very sad. I wish I spoke Spanish because that's where my dad's family, they're from a Spanish-speaking country. They're from Colombia. I just wasn't really taught when I was younger, and the American school system for teaching languages is really bad, so it's like you don't retain anything once you graduate if you don't keep up with it. I'd also super like to learn Japanese and Korean because I do watch like a lot of Asian dramas, and I've always been super interested in Japanese culture specifically, like when I was growing up, but now also Korean culture because, again, of the content that I consume. Question 10 is, what music would we find in your collection? I basically listen to almost everything except like country and classical that often, but I am a huge alternative rock fan. That was what I grew up listening to. New metal also. Linkin Park is my old school favorite band, so there's been a lot of their music on my playlists like forever, and I'm actually really excited that they're touring again and releasing like new music. I completely had a moment like a few weeks ago when I first heard Up From the Bottom because it literally sent me back to when I was 16 and listening to Meteora and Hybrid Theory and stuff like that. My other favorite band, my newest favorite band that I've been obsessed with for like the past year is Stray Kids. So I've really gotten into like K-pop. I mean, I've always liked pop music because I like to dance, but I've like specifically gotten pretty into K-pop this past year, but more specifically like the Stray Kids sound. So Stray Kids, ATEEZ, like songs that kind of sound like them. You probably don't know what I'm talking about if you don't like K-pop, but yeah, so my two favorite bands are Linkin Park and Stray Kids, and I basically listen to everything in between them. So quite a few of their songs, also Halsey is another one of my favorite artists. A lot of their songs are on my writing playlist for when I like sit down to focus on my stories. So that's it for this tag. Thank you so much, Anna, for tagging me. This was super fun. I don't really have anybody else in mind to tag, so if you see this video and you decide to do it, please give me a shout out. I'd love to check out your video. But yeah, that's it. See you next time.